All right, good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the Elk Grove City Council regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. This meeting of the Elk Grove City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Tonight's meeting replays will be on Friday, February 27th at 1 p.m. and Sunday, March 1st at 6 p.m. on Metro Channel 14. Once posted, the recordings of this and previous meetings can be viewed on demand at 3ws.elkgrove.gov or youtube.com/metrocable14. For members of the participating audience who may have personal electronic devices, please place them on silent mode during the meeting or on mute when you are not speaking. The Elk Grove City Council welcomes, appreciates, and encourages participation in the City Council meeting. City Council requests that you limit your presentation to 3 minutes per person so all present will have time to participate. City Council reserves the right to reasonably limit the total time for public comment on any particular noticed agenda item as it may deem necessary. Pursuant to Resolution Number 2010-24, no individual speaker concerning public comment may address the City Council for more than 3 minutes. If you wish to address the Council during the meeting, please complete one of the blue speaker cards, which can be found at the back of the chamber, and provide it to Assistant City Clerk Brenda Haggard prior to consideration of the agenda item. With that, Mayor, I'll be moving into the roll call. And for the roll call, I will start with Councilmember Robles. Present. Councilmember Spies. Present. Councilmember Brewer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Singh-Allen.
Here.
And Mayor Singh-Allen.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. Next up is our land acknowledgement. Assisting in that is our Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. We honor, respect, and acknowledge Elk Grove's first inhabitants, the Plains Miwok, who lived as sovereign caretakers of this land and these waterways since time immemorial. We commemorate and advocate for their descendants, the Wilton Rancheria tribe, the only federally recognized tribe in Sacramento County, who endure because of the bravery, resiliency, and determination of their ancestors, tribal members, and leaders.
Thank you for that. Next up is our Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to invite up Sharon Anderson. Would you please lead us this evening? Thank you, Mayor. Pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, please join us for a brief moment of silence. All right, next up is our approval of the agenda. May I get a motion?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, Clerk.
Under Section 3, there are no closed session items on the regular agenda, which will advance us to Section 4, presentation for the evening, which is item 4.1, and that's a proclamation recognizing March 1st through the 7th, 2026 as Women in Construction Week.
Excellent. Reading that will be our Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate this honor to recognize Women in Construction Week. Could I have our representatives approach the podium? Thank
Supporters
you.
can come up too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
From our own city. It's awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Whereas the National Association of Women in Construction, Sacramento chapter number 63, has distinguished itself for over 60 years as the voice of women in construction in the Sacramento region and as well as Northern California. And whereas the work done by the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has identified the region through community development and educational programs, and whereas the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has unceasingly promoted the employment and advancement of women in construction industry, and whereas the construction community, represented by the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC, has been a driving force in fostering community development through renovation and beautification projects, promotion of skilled trade careers, and a positive vision of the future. And whereas the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has sought to achieve successful results from the Sacramento region and surrounding areas in a cooperative spirit with other organizations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby recognizes the National Association of Women in Construction, Sacramento chapter number 63, and its many dedicated volunteers, like our city staff behind us, for the steadfast work on behalf and support of women in construction, and do proudly proclaim the week of March 1 through March 7, 2026 as Women in Construction Week, and encourages all residents to congratulate the organization on its many accomplishments. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Francine Matthews, and I'm so proud to accept this award on behalf of NAWIC. We really are grateful for the city recognizing Women in Construction Week. And our mission is simple. We want to show all the women and girls in Elk Grove that there is a place for them in the industry, whether they're swinging a hammer or running a project all on their own. So I thank you for celebrating the women who are helping build our community, and we truly appreciate the support. Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll come down there to present you with the proclamation. All right, next up is public comment. I will go ahead and open up the public comment opportunity at this time. Let's see, our first speaker, and forgive me if I butcher your name, Jill Batiancila?
Close enough.
Okay, how do you say it?
Batiancila.
Oh, yeah, I would have not gotten it.
It's okay. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Jill Batiancila, and I'm the founder and executive director of Together We Heal Community, a 501c3 nonprofit based here in Elk Grove. For the past 5 years, we have provided grief and loss resources to individuals and families throughout Elk Grove and the greater Sacramento County region. Our mission is simple but deeply needed: to create meaningful opportunities for people to process grief in healthy, compassionate ways. Each month, we offer thoughtfully curated experiences, including writing workshops, walking groups, cooking and nutrition classes, movement and mindfulness sessions, financial education, family estrangement classes, and decluttering through grief. We also facilitate 8-week grief groups for general loss as well as loss of a child. We partner with qualified clinicians and compassionate facilitators, and we actively collaborate with other bereavement organizations across the region. We believe there is no timeline for grief. Ongoing compassion, connection, and access to resources are essential to long-term mental health and well-being. Grief is the universal human experience. Every one of us will be a griever or love someone who is. Accessibility to grief support should be available to everyone, regardless of age, race, or financial situation. We recently applied for the Elk Grove sponsorship grant with the intention of hosting a large-scale one-day youth grief support event in the spring of 2027. This event would serve students in our community who are experiencing the loss of a loved one. Approximately 6.3 million children in the United States will experience the death of a parent, sibling, or primary caregiver before they turn 18. 69% of teachers report having at least one grieving student in their classroom in the past year. Research consistently shows that bereaved youth face increased risk of mental health challenges, academic struggles, and negative long-term outcomes if their grief goes unsupported. Children grieve differently than adults, and because of this, they are frequently overlooked. But when young people are given proper intervention and surrounded by an ecosystem of support, grief can become a pathway to resilience rather than a barrier for their future. In addition to our event proposal, we recently created and printed school resource kits, which are distributed free of charge to local schools to help reach families with school-aged children who have experienced loss. I brought copies for you today, which I will leave with the clerk. These resources are also available in digital format on our website to ensure broad accessibility, and that is togetherwehealcommunity.org. We are committed to serving Elk Grove's youth and family with professionalism, compassion, and collaboration. With your support through the event sponsorship grant, we can expand that impact in a meaningful, visible way for our city. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your consideration.
Thank you, and thank you for your great work.
Thank you.
Next up is Jody Hill, followed by Berkeley Hill.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you so much for your time this evening, as well as your continued care and love for our city. I'm a proud member of the Elk Grove community. I graduated from Laguna Creek High School, and I have gone on to become a teacher in our district. I currently serve as the activities director at Toby Johnson Middle School. My most important role, though, is as a mother. When my daughter was a toddler, we would stroll through the beautiful parks of Elk Grove, and I would ask her when we saw older kids participating in activities if she was interested in trying one of them. Her response was always no. In fact, we had so many opportunities to explore these activities because all that you have created in our city that it became a routine. We would see something new, and I would ask her if she wanted to try, and she would reply no. No to softball, no to soccer, no to basketball. She even said no to swim team. Until one day, one of our neighbors gave me tickets to a play to see her son in. We went to see it, and not 20 minutes into the show, my 4-year-old turned to me and said, "Mom, that is what I want to do." I spent the next several months scouring websites, trying to figure out when my girl would be old enough to hit the stage. Come to find out, we didn't have to wait long. Berkeley performed in her first play at 5 years old. And from that moment on, she's been in love with musical theater and performing. We were so lucky that our neighbors invited us to see a play, because without that opportunity, I don't know if we would have ever experienced the joy that MMP has provided for our family. Musical Mayhem Productions is a hidden gem in our city. They perform at various locations: Cosumnes Oaks High School, Sheldon High School, Rosemont, and the 24th Street Theater. Of all of those locations, only one is located in Elk Grove. Their practice space is tucked in away in an industrial park. They are doing amazing things in our community. However, not enough people are aware of their efforts. If we could assist them in creating a dedicated center that is more visible in our community, they could serve even more students. As you consider your focus on expanding the visual and performing arts in Elk Grove, I encourage you to remember this company that has been doing this work in our city for the past 14 years. Currently, MMP produces over 20 youth musicals annually, with over 1,400 cast members, and over 130 participate in their nationally recognized year-long pre-professional training program, the Master Academy. Supporting MMP in building a theater and rehearsal space would enable them to help and continue their important work and bring more business into our community. Currently, MMP is required to take their productions to Sacramento, which not only removes our students from Elk Grove, but also takes away the revenue that their parents are spending and community members are spending while supporting these events. I urge you to help MMP build a center that would benefit both students and community at large. I also invite you to come see one of their upcoming plays at the 24th Street Theater, like Suffs and Dear Edwina.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Berkeley, did you want to speak? Okay, it's your turn. You can pull those down. Yep, there you go.
Stay.
Just like a pro. There you got it.
Hi, my name is Berkeley Hill. I'm 11 years old. I started MMP when I was 5 years old. I've been in 8 shows with MMP. MMP doesn't just help me learn how to do theater, it helps me prepare for my future. All things I learn in MMP helps me with school. My reading, when I learn how to read my script, I talk in public. I wouldn't be able to do with this without being in MMP. The best part about MMP the best part of my day is being at MMP. I get to hang out with my friends, learn how to sing, and do a bunch of fun dances. Come see Edwina. It's the show I'm in right now at 4th Street Theater. Thank you.
All right, next up is Sue Jaraki, followed by Bhavin Shah. How do you say your last name? Was that good?
Nailed it.
Okay, hey, I can do that every now and then.
People butcher that all the time. Okay, I would like to talk about the city's plans to respond when ICE comes to Elk Grove. I could find nothing on the city websites, and it bothers me. Turns out these issues have been discussed before. Questions regarding the plans first raised in September of 10th of 2025. And brought up again on the 17th of September, and then again on the 25th of September 2025. An open letter was finally delivered to the mayor, city council members, and Elk Grove PD on February 13th, which was only a couple weeks ago. And I found it on the Elk Grove news site, but I never found it on the city website. And granted, I didn't, I did my typical browse, and I couldn't find it. I did a search, and I couldn't find it. And it was like, okay. So I found it in the open letter in the news site. And basically, I'm going to just recommend just talk about the things that they talked about in the open letter. Design and approve a resolution prohibiting ICE on the city property. Collaborate with community members and organizers to develop a community safety action plan in preparation for mass raids and militarized enforcement. Affirm Elk Grove's commitment to protect its immigrant population and law-abiding protesters who are standing up to support them. Create child and family protection systems by partnering with schools and communities. And allocate emergency funding for legal and basic needs assistance for Elk Grove's immigrant population. I have a reference to first they came from the German pastor Martin Niemöller, but I think I want to keep this nice and brief. We need to decide who we're going to be and how we're going to be remembered. As passive, apathetic, indifferent, even complicit? I don't want that to be happening in Elk Grove. We need to do this not for ourselves, but for our grandchildren and their children. So we need to speak out, and we need to decide. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Sue. I will be reading a statement at the end of public comment, but I will invite you to have a conversation with Jackie. Just for the record, we do have resources and information on the website, but I will agree that it's probably not as easy to find. But we're working on that. But I will read a more detailed
I used
statement.
to do website development,
Thank you.
So it's like,
I understand. And Jackie will be helping you if you need additional. But if you want to stick around a few more minutes, that would be great.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Next up is Bhavin Shah, and our final speaker is Sharon Anderson.
Honorable Mayor, respected council members, and distinguished guests, Namaste. My name is Bhavin Shah, a proud resident of the great city of Elk Grove and a volunteer of Seva Diwali Food Drive. I'm here to give information on this year's Seva Diwali Food Drive. October and November is a special and meaningful for Hindus around the world, as it is also when we celebrate Diwali, a festival of lights. Diwali is more than just a celebration. It is time to reflect on how light triumphs over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, and hope over despair. It encourages us to uphold our values, act with honesty, and promote peace within our families and communities. Seva, or selfless service, is the heart of our celebration and daily life. During Diwali, we focus on this special national project called Seva Diwali. Seva Diwali is a collective initiative by dharmic organizations, including yoga, spiritual, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh organizations, linguistic, and Indian socio-cultural organizations. These organizations uphold the Seva Dharma. Service to humanity is service to divinity. And believe in society's well-being is a responsibility which we all share, and its fruits are only as nourishing as the care we put into it. Our goal is to give back to the society we live in during the festival of Diwali. The Seva Diwali initiative aims at unite and represent the collective strength and synergy of the dharmic communities living in the US. We aim to contribute to our local communities and be part of the national movement to combat hunger. This initiative helps foster the spirit of selfless service, Seva Bhav, among all the members, including kids and families. Such activities also provide an opportunity to expand the footprint of the community organizations and reach out to new members who have not yet been connected. Seva Diwali invites people to use their homes as a collection centers for collecting non-perishable items. These donations go to the local food banks, homeless shelters, and in the spirit of Diwali, and giving reaches to those who need it the most. Starting from the year 2018 in New Jersey, 25 plus organizations at that time collected 18,000 pounds of food. Now continuing into 2025, we successfully ran the Seva Diwali food drive across 38 plus states in the USA, around 250 plus township, 555 plus dharmic, linguistic, and cultural and seva organizations, and many individuals joined hands together to fight against the hunger. Collected and distributed 970,000 pounds of food only in 2025. This food items goes to 360 plus beneficiaries.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your information. And next up is Sharon Anderson.
Hello, Mayor Singh and council members and Vice Mayor Darren Soon. Y'all are like my friends, but I'm going to address you and take a moment to just express my gratitude for all the things that you all are doing. Your involvement with different boards, commissions, committees, endeavors, other governments, all of that is a lot, and I recognize what you are doing. And then to the staff, same thing, the amount of gratitude that I have for all of you for networking within your spheres, from planning to policing to, heck, Jason Berman just got recognized by the League of Cities for the highest level of distinction for city managers, the Wes McClure Award of Distinction. Talk about having some of the best, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate the responsiveness of your staff. Anytime there is a need, it doesn't matter who I reach out to, I get directed to the right department, the right program. If I made a mistake and reached out to our clerk, he would funnel me to Bobby or whatever. So I appreciate their knowledge of what goes on within the city. And then the other thing that I appreciate is the amount of support you all and the staff give to different committees and commissions that are part of Elk Grove, like the Trails Committee that I sit on. And also the support of the different volunteer groups within the community, such as our little volunteer group, the anti-trash group. I really appreciate the support your staff have given us and the recognition that y'all, it seems like any time you guys are talking about things that need a cleanup, it's like that word comes right out of your mouth, EGAT, and I appreciate that. And then the support of nonprofits. There's several in the audience tonight that are probably very grateful for the amount of financial support that you have given them over time. And organizations such as the one that I'm the president of, the Camden Neighborhood Association, appreciate that. I appreciate your attendance at the events and all of the things. So today is just my day to express my gratitude. I haven't been here in a long time, so it was time. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That was great.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon.
Let's see, Sharon was our final speaker for public comment, so I will close public comment. And just a quick statement that I wanted to read. Let's see, resources and information for immigrants webpage update. In recent weeks, questions and information shared on social media have prompted community interest regarding the city's procedures related to federal immigration laws and agencies. The city of Elk Grove understands that these topics can raise important questions for residents and families. To provide clarity and accurate information, the city has updated its website to include new FAQs outlining local policies and explaining the role of the Elk Grove Police Department in relation to federal immigration enforcement. These updates are intended to ensure community members have access to reliable information about city practices and services. We encourage residents to visit the city's website for the most current information and resources. And I will end by just saying that I would agree with Sue, who spoke earlier, that it can be challenging to navigate. We don't want this to be something that you got to do a deep dive on. I think having the information front and center, readily available, that when you go onto our main site, it's there, and you don't have to dig too far into the tabs and crosstabs and what have you. So I do think that we want to make it more available and easy to find. So you'll see an update on that. We have been responsive. We responded to the first series. It may not be the work product that you want to see exactly in a specific format, but we feel that it has addressed a lot of the concerns. But I do believe the next round of information that you will see on there really does address what's most important, and that is that Elk Grove is a safe place for our residents, that we are a community and a city welcome to all, including our immigrant and refugee population. I myself am an immigrant. I moved here when I was 4. So this subject is very important to me. We hear you, we see you, and we have responded. If anybody has additional questions, Miss Jackie is available so that you can get more information just outside the chambers. Thank you again. We will close the public comment. We've done that. We will move on to our next item, which is our city manager's report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. Jason Benner, your city manager. Mayor, appreciate that report. Just to be clear, we have done our best to make it easy to find that information. So if you go to the city's main webpage, which is elkgrove.gov, right under the main header, there's a link that says resources information for immigrants, and you can click on that. It'll take you right there. Also, further down the page, there's a section that says current topics. It's also under that section. Or if you just type in the search bar and you type in immigrants, it'll also take you right to that page. So we've tried to put it as many places as we can so you can't miss it. So if it was hard to find before, it should be super easy to find now. So, okay. A few other items to report on. Today is the final day to submit nominations for the 26 Stars of Service Volunteer Award. This program recognizes individuals or organizations who help make Elk Grove a better place to live, work, and play. Online applications can be found on the city's website, and the nomination period does close later tonight. The city's recycling and waste team is bringing the compost corner back to Elk Grove this weekend. Pick up your free compost in the parking lot at Elk Grove Florin Road and East Stockton Boulevard during normal park hours. Supplies are limited, but will be replenished weekly, weather permitting. Don't miss this chance to give your garden a seasonal boost. Bring your own shovel and containers. The compost is hand-loaded only. The Animal Services team will host their next drive-through vaccine clinic for local pets on Saturday, March 14th from 8 to 11 at the Animal Shelter. It's a free service for Elk Grove residents, but registration is required. The event fills fast, and online registrations will open next Saturday, March 7th at 8 a.m. More information can be found on the city's website. SACRT will be hosting a series of public workshops to gather community input on safety challenges, barriers, and opportunities for improving public access to transit. An Elk Grove workshop is scheduled at the library, the current library at 8900 Elk Grove Boulevard on Tuesday, March 10th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Participants who attend are eligible to win a $50 grocery gift card. More information about the workshops and safe routes to transit plan can be found at sacrt.com/safe routes. And finally, the city is pleased to be among the sponsors for a Veterans Career and Resource Fair presented by Laguna Elk Grove American Legion Post 55, scheduled on Friday, March 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at District 56. Veterans, transitioning service members, and military families are invited to this free event that will bring together employers, service organizations, and support agencies dedicated to serving veterans. Attendees will be able to explore job openings, access workforce development resources, and connect with organizations offering housing, education, health, and benefits assistance. More information is available through American Legion Post 55 members as well as their website. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Thank you for your report. Any questions or comments? Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, that was a great report, Jason, but you left out the important thing that Sharon Anderson talked about. And your humble self, I'm not surprised. So I just want to acknowledge that you receiving the West McClure Service Award for Leadership from the League of Cities is an outstanding award. And I mean, you've been representing the city now for 11 years now, I think? Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad to see you be recognized for that. And so we really appreciate your service, and I'm glad this League of Cities recognized your talent as well. So we're grateful to have you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You took my comments, so I will say that. Thank you, and congratulations once again. We're all so very proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to our next item, consent calendar. At this time, I will open up the public comment opportunity for consent calendar. I do not have anyone sign up to speak. I will close consent calendar public comment opportunity. Any questions? If not, I look for a motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Take us to section 8, our public hearings, and the one public hearing we have for the evening is 8.1, a public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the Elk Grove Municipal Code Title 23 to allow the operation of a new medical waste transfer facility in an existing tenant space in an industrial building on the project site, and a resolution approving a conditional use permit for the Trilogy Med Waste West project.
There you go. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Kara Killingsworth, and I am the project planner for the Trilogy Med Waste West project. The applicant is requesting a zoning code text amendment to Title 23 zoning code and a conditional use permit to allow for medical waste transfer facility in the heavy industrial zoning district. The project is located on Survey Road in the industrial section of the city. The property is surrounded by other industrial and industrial office park zoning districts with various uses. The existing single building has been developed since the late 1990s, and the latest tenant was the Delivery Distribution Center. The Planning Commission reviewed the application on January 15th, 2026, and there was no public comment and no written comments at the meeting. The Planning Commission recommend approval to the City Council with a 3-0 vote. The proposal is to amend the section of Title 23 with a few amendments, which Section 23.26.050, and that is to add a description and use for medical waste transfer facility. Revised Table 23.27-1, which is the allowed uses table, and that would permit medical waste transfer facility in heavy industrial with a conditional use permit and not permitted in any other zoning districts. Revise the Table 23.58-2, which is a minimum parking requirement by land use, and that is to add minimum parking requirements for the medical waste transfer facility. This would be similar to other industrial similar uses. And lastly, add a definition of 23.100-0.20, and that is to add the definition of medical waste, which will be similar to the meaning of the California Health and Safety Code. As mentioned, this is within an existing building. There are 2 tenant spaces. Both are vacant. The applicant will occupy Suite B and will have operating hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. They will have box trucks that will park in the rear, and they will have daily trips for pickup. A long haul truck will be on the side of the property and will leave every 7 days. And that truck will take all the waste materials to the Fresno disposable facility. There will be no disposable at this location. And just to give you a little example of medical waste would be sharps, biomedical waste, and clinical waste. Staff determined that no further environmental review is required for this project. It's consistent with the general plan and the general plan EIR 15183 and 15162. It's also exempt from CEQA per 15301, is occupying an existing building. With that, there's no fiscal impact of the general fund associated with the project, and staff recommends that the City Council introduce an ordinance and adopt a resolution to amend the zoning code to allow medical waste transfer facility within a heavy industrial zoning district. That concludes my presentation. Staff is available for questions as well as the applicant. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your presentation. At this time, I will declare that the public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak? Don't have to, but you're invited. Yeah, come on.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm the Director of Compliance for Trilogy Med Waste West. Trilogy is operating across the country at over 32 locations, and we take our security and handling of medical waste very serious. You'll never see medical waste. Everything's always tied and sealed. Our property is locked when not in use. Vehicles are locked when not in use, and our employees are heavily trained in the OSHA regulations and DOT regulations. That's all I really have. I just want to be here for any questions or comments that you may have.
Thank you. All right, thank you. I will open up public comment on this item. Nobody has signed up to speak. I'll go ahead and close public comment. For the applicant, do you want to speak again or any additional remarks? Okay, you had that opportunity. All right, then I will go ahead and declare that the public hearing is now closed and open it up to questions or comments. I'll start to the right. Any questions or comments?
Quick clarifying question. I probably should have asked this in private, but because I don't know the delicate way to answer this, but medical waste does not include human remains, correct? Correct. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Looking to the left, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question for the applicant in terms of, I saw it's going to be fenced, but is there barbed wire on top of it too? I mean, what is it going to, I just want to make sure that people, you just don't know sometimes. People want to get in there. I just want to better understand your security there.
Yeah, no, I'll be happy to answer. So the facility we're at now has a gate that is closable and lockable with a combination lock, and it's also barbed wired across the back perimeter in front. So it limits access, highly limits access. So
great. And video surveillance, do you guys have that too?
Not yet. Once we get up and running, then it'll be like our other facilities where we have closed circuit monitoring and recording.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other further questions or comments, I'm looking for a motion 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, please.
I'll move us to section 9, our regular agenda action items and recommendations. And that first being item 9.1, which is to receive the fiscal year 2024 Measure E annual report from the Measure E Citizens Oversight Committee and review and provide feedback on the draft annual Measure E community report.
You're going to be my clicker. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Singh-Allen, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. My name is Valerie Irwin. I am the proud chairperson of the Citizens Oversight Committee for the Measure E Fund for the City of Elk Grove. I am joined tonight by several of our members on the committee. I'd like to ask them to stand, please. We have Brett Bartholomew, who is our vice chair. Hollis Erb is our past chair. We also have resident members Judy Covington, Helena Silma, Mandera Silma, Harry Singh, and Alan Vito III. We are pleased to be here this evening to share the Measure E report for fiscal year 24-25. And just as an overview and a reminder, Measure E was implemented by the city of Elk Grove and provides a 1% sales tax, so a penny per dollar. This is a general tax that is part of the city's general fund, which a sub-account was implemented by the city for tracking. The proceeds are shared between the city and the Casumnas Community Services District, and the funding priorities are identified by the community through numerous outreach and polling efforts. On this slide here, you see the allocation for the Measure E funding. 50% of the funding goes to the city of Elk Grove, 30% to the Casumnas CSD, and the remaining 20% is set aside as a reserve for future priority projects. The tasks of the Oversight Committee are to review annual independent financial audits, along with the expenditures and the revenues, prepare and present an independent report to the City Council regarding the revenue and expenditures, which we are doing here tonight, and to review the proposed budget and expenditures to ensure that they are consistent with the community identified needs and priorities. The committee was appointed by the City Council to ensure exactly that the funding is aligned with those identified priorities. The accomplishments of the committee include the 2 annual meetings that are held. Recently, the last one since our last report was held, since our last report a year ago, there was a meeting held in May 2025 where we received the update on the fiscal year 25 financials, reviewed the new Measure E priorities that had been determined, along with the expenditure plan for fiscal year 26. And then this last month in January, we reviewed and approved the fiscal year 24-25 Measure E audits for both the City of Elk Grove and the Casumnas CSD, and reviewed and commented on the Measure E 24-25 annual report to Council, along with the draft community report, which we will be reviewing this evening. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Assistant City Manager Guzman.
Thank you, Valerie. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Jackie Guzman, Assistant City Manager. So I'll just be going over the Measure E actual revenues and expenditures. In fiscal year 2024-25, the city generated $34.6 million in new Measure E funding. As per our allocation, 20%, that's $6.9 million, was set aside for future priority projects. 50% came to the city of Elk Grove, that's $17.3 million, and 30% was dispersed to the Casumnas CSD, and that was in an amount of $10.4 million. In terms of expenditures, both the Casumnas CSD and the city expended $17.6 million. 67% of those expenditures went towards public safety, related to crime reduction and rapid response. And then in terms of the city specifically, and we track this again in our sub-fund, we started out the fiscal year with a beginning fund balance of $22.6 million, made up of both reserves and unallocated dollars. We, again, generated $34.6 million, sent Kasumna CSD their share, and the city expended $9.5 million on its own priorities. In terms of the set aside, the fund balances, this year the city did decide to set aside $4 million for the upcoming homeless shelter. So we have that funding set aside for that. And our future priorities project grew with the new dollars. So it now stands at the end of the 25 fiscal year at $15.3 million. And with that, given our spend, we didn't spend as much as we had budgeted. And so we are ending with an unrestricted fund balance of about $18 million, which is available to reprogram next year. And with that, I'm going to turn to Nu Vang from the Kasumna CSD to go over her slides for their revenue and expenditures.
All right, good evening, Mayor Singh-Allen and members of the council. I'm Nu Vang, the CFO for the Kasumna Community Services District. So on this chart here, we have actuals, our fiscal year 24 actuals, and our modified budget, along with the audited financials for fiscal year 24-25. So we started off the fiscal year with a fund balance of $6.7 million. And through the tax sharing agreement, we have just a little shy of $11 million in revenue, and then about $8 million in expenditures. And then you'll see down here on the last column here that the fire department overall fund balance is $5 million. And then the other appropriate areas with park maintenance, 3.7 overall, ending fund balance of about $9.5 million. And that's our audit expenditures for the fiscal year. Thank you.
And lastly, the Measure E Oversight Committee did review independent financial audits for both agencies, and both independent auditors found that our financial statements were fairly presented in all material aspects. That's considered a clean audit, and that is the best audit opinion that a public agency can receive. And with that, I will turn it back to Valerie.
Thank you. Included in your staff report is a copy of the draft annual report highlights. This is really an exciting report because it kind of just puts it in a nice small package, everything that has been accomplished with the amount of support from the Measure E funds, along with all of the staff work and planning that has gone from both the City of Elk Grove staff along with the Kasumna CSD. The intent is that with your authorization and approval, this community report will be distributed to the residents in the upcoming city newsletter that will be scheduled for April distribution. Just to review, the priorities that had already been set for the Measure E funding, there were a total of 7 of them. I bet I could figure out how to advance this if I... Sometimes I can even surprise myself. There are some clarifications I want to make as we go through. These 7 priorities were the priorities for fiscal year 24-25. These were the original priorities that were set: reducing crime and improving emergency response, enhancing programs to combat youth crime and gang prevention, addressing homelessness, maintaining streets and improving traffic, maintaining parks, clean and safe public areas, and economic development. The council added 4 new priorities in 2025, and these projects are budgeted for the fiscal year 25-26. So those 4 new priorities are current, although we are not reporting on those at this time, as this report is specifically for last year's activity. Those 4 new priorities, arts, culture, and entertainment, that's 1, forgive my pause. Affordable housing, the preservation of natural areas and open space, and maintaining and expanding local bike and pedestrian trails. So we do have now a total of 11 priorities that are currently in play. Do you want to? What do you want to do?
We're going to have New come up and do the CSD slides.
Thank you. Excuse us, our fire chief couldn't be with us at this evening, so I'm going to go over his slide here. Under the rapid response, we added 15 new staff, allowing deployment of 2 squads and 1 battalion chief. Overall, we saw our response time directly decrease, and also with Station 74, the incidents increased despite reduced engine truck response. That just means we're getting a lot more calls. Station 71, total incident increased 10%, demonstrating added system capacity. There was significant workload relief for engines and trucks with improved unit availability and reliability, which really shows that our Measure dollars are going where it's supposed to. And it has better alignment with resources to call type. It enhances operational oversight for our battalion chief deployment. And with the 8 new emergency response vehicles to support squads and our personnel. We also strengthened support service by adding a fire mechanic and EMS management analyst for more oversight and administrative support for our fire department. We also make some technology and training enhancement within our fire department. We upgraded our 911 alerting system and at 6 of our fire stations to replace aging hardware and speedy response. Our emergency vehicle preemption pilot program is also in progress, and we reduced the overall response delay at traffic signals. That system has been proving working well within our city limits. We also deploy new incident management software, our tablet command, where it allows our fire personnel to have electronic devices in front of them instead of paper notepads, which makes it more efficient for them. Our pilot training model allowed about 170 firefighters to complete EMS skill training off shift. So this allows them to, there's not a lot of backfill with that, and making sure that our fire personnel is on the line to assist when it's needed. We also enhance our program through our Fire Explorer program with youth development and our next generation of firefighters. This have hands-on training with and mentorship with real-world fire service experiences. It support our youth leadership, crime prevention, and career path. We did launch this program back in fall of 2024. We graduated 20 students. It's been a successful program, and we're looking to do that again this year. We cover 17 fire service topics and had students certified for CPR.
I'll invite Chief Davis.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The law enforcement side or public safety side, we utilized, as far as reducing crime and improving emergency response, drone is the first responder program. We assisted with 1,909 calls. We cleared 14% of those calls without having a unit have to respond to the scene itself. Reduced our response times by 75% when operational. Traffic enforcement, we addressed 2,800 abandoned vehicles and parking complaints, and we made 300 commercial-related contacts. License plate readers, 274 vehicles of interest were identified, resulting in 30% assisting with investigations or making arrests. And then our narcotics detection canine recovered $55,479 in cash. And we've listed out what 10 pounds of marijuana, methamphetamine, ketamine, MDMA, cocaine, and then oxycodone. I have another one. Continuing, we contracted services with a community prosecutor, assisted with 130 investigations, expanded our chronic offender intervention efforts, and led to targeted nuisance prosecutions that significantly reduced calls for service for us. And that specific program really addresses our quality of life issues in the community. 2 new dispatchers were allowed for a 10-hour shift schedule, which aligns with patrol, so it gets greater continuity with our patrol teams. It allowed for us to have a police officer, which helped enhance officers' readiness and safety and compliance, which was important because we did grow significantly as a result of Measure E, and it makes sure that we are in compliance with post. And then new real-time information specialists that provide data and information and intelligence to the officers in real time and assist with over 4,000 calls. And this is really our bread and butter with innovation and technology at the police department. And then 17 Measure E funded PD staff have increased response times, decreased them, and in our service levels. In addition, police youth services team delivered dozens of school visits, youth programs, mentoring sessions, and community events, including our Explorer Activities program and Youth 411 services. Our community engagement, we went to over 110 or so events this year, which is pretty significant for our youth services and our community engagement team, and we're very proud of that and how we continue to connect with our kids. Now, the outcome that strengthens positive relationships with youth, promotes early prevention, and builds trust between young residents and our law enforcement. And this is not me.
Good evening, Mayor Singh-Allen, members of the council, Tracy Ferris, Parks and Recreation Administrator for the Cosumnes CSD. I'm happy to be here this evening to share some of our success stories for how we're using our Measure E dollars. So I'm going to start with our At Promise Youth Program. As you can see on the slide, this program is brand new for us, thanks to Measure E, and we are already really filling some seats and expanding the program offerings that we're able to provide to our youth. So we've offered 17 educational and recreational field trips and seen year-over-year growth with our attendees. We offer free recreation swim for youth at our Jerry Fox Swim Center, funded through Measure E. We also started a college application prep course this last fiscal year. We saw 9 students go through that course, and they received a $500 stipend to remove barriers to applications for college. We also provided 23 swim passes for youth experiencing housing insecurity. And also we provided recreation scholarships for programs outside of, with the district, but outside of our specific youth outreach program. Rec Force One is our mobile recreation unit. It's a refurbished ambulance that we received from the fire department, and if you may have seen it around the city, and so we've had it at several of our parks, so we call those our park pop-ups events, and we have over 230 community impressions just through our Rec Force One program. I want to share a couple of success stories from this section. So we were able to provide a Measure E scholarship, provided 2 weeks of summer camp for 2 children whose family were experiencing housing instability, allowing the parent to secure housing and preventing the children from entering foster care. We also, our Youth Outreach Advocate, which is a brand new position for our district funded through Measure E, has intervened with several teens and connected them with services and provided them with a safe place in our programs. So we're super proud of this program. On to park maintenance Soul. We are really excited to be upgrading our irrigation infrastructure. 4 out of our 11 controllers are fully installed and programmed as of fiscal year 25, so this number has certainly increased since then. We are also working hard to enhance our sidewalk and trail surfaces, making sure that we're reducing liability, making them more walkable and safe for our residents to enjoy. You can see the benefit zones that those that receive the care. We alternate benefit zones each fiscal year. We also revitalized several aging park infrastructures. So we did playground resurfacing at Amundsen, Caramanos, and Rao parks. We replaced a whole basketball court and hoop at Costello Park. And then, of course, Elk Grove Park, our 122-acre park, our largest park in our district, our most visited park, received a lot of love through Measure E with some restroom upgrades, and we also were able to replace the water slide at the Wackford Community Center, the Quacken. We did some equitable park maintenance at several of our parks, including Betchart and Elk Grove Park, and we improved some lighting at Lippincott Park. We made it safer. Our park rangers and urban forest program have also benefited from the Measure E dollars. We did upgrade a position to a park ranger supervisor. I'm happy to report that we'll be onboarding that position on March 2nd. We're very excited to bring that person on board. We have initiated efforts for our 2 new urban forestry tech positions, one of which will be coming on board in March, and then we will be hopeful to have the next one on board by May. And we're doing specialized tree work. We're making sure to maintain our heritage oaks across the district, most specifically this last fiscal year at Emerald Lakes Golf Course, Elk Grove Park, and Beeman Park. So the trees that our city is known for are being very well taken care of. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Werner.
Good evening, everyone. Jeff Warner, Public Works Director. In the clean and safe public areas category, Measure E funds are helping to remove graffiti in a timely manner from private properties where the graffiti is facing public spaces. So helping keep our community beautiful in a very timely manner. Our Worth the Work anti-litter campaign, supporting the anti-trash volunteers, as well as encouraging our community to take care of its community, clean up after themselves. We've made some physical improvements by installing some branded trash cans at various locations along trails and in other public spaces. And then while encampments are down, thanks to Measure E funds in large part, we have continued to clean up encampments, removing 28.63 tons of refuse from those sites. In the category of maintaining streets and improving traffic, we did a traffic signal coordination, a large effort that helped with some measurable results across 8 major corridors throughout the city. We installed LED flashing stop signs at 21 locations near high-risk locations around schools and other mid-block crossings. Or I'm sorry, not mid-block crossings, but other locations with large traffic volume or history of collisions. After studying flashing yellow arrows through a pilot project for our city, we continue to deploy them using Measure E funds, further enhancing traffic operations and improving traffic flow. We did 5 locations this past year, and we'll do some additional locations with Measure E funds this year. And then our traffic signal enhancement project is a major initiative that installed ITS improvements throughout the intelligent transportation system improvements throughout the city, hoping to modernize our traffic signal system as well as improve our communication with our signals by installing fiber optic lines. For pavement repair, you all know we have a world-class paving program. However, Measure E funds are helping to support that, and we are focusing those Measure E funds on repaving our major arterials. So this past year, we did Laguna Boulevard between State Route 99 and just west of Laguna Springs. And then this year, we'll continue that effort. We did some additional dig-outs for the paving that's going to be coming up this summer along Laguna Boulevard and Elk Grove Boulevard. We also have an inspector that's funded with the Measure E funds that helps support our pavement program, which is rather large. And I will pass it on to Christopher.
Thanks, Jeff, and good evening. So in terms of addressing homelessness, a lot to report here. Of course, we have the first full year of operation for our new year-round shelter. That's the temporary location over off of East Stockton. In that first year, 93 adults were served at the facility with an average occupancy of about 25 beds per night. There's about 30 beds at the total. There are 30 beds at the total facility, and I'm happy to report tonight we are occupied fully. The shelter has led to a decrease in encampments in Elk Grove of about 65%, so our strategy is making a difference for both guests and residents who utilize our trail network in particular. Jeff mentioned the cleanup around the encampments, and all the encampment cleanup that's occurred there, so we want to point that out. In terms of families and how the shelter services are provided, while they're not currently eligible to stay at the shelter itself, there'll be a new function at the permanent shelter later. We do offer motel vouchers for them this year. 3 families were served through the Measure E funding, with an additional 8 families served from other community sources. Our navigation services, our 2 homeless navigator positions, make all of this possible. They're the key to the overall success of the programs. They've been engaging with people in the community every day, connecting them with a shelter and other resources that are incredibly needed. And while other agencies in the region report low rates of engagement, our navigation team has about a 70% engagement rate with people experiencing homelessness, so much improved there. And again, of course, as you may recall at your last meeting, the direction you provided around the future permanent shelter, and the work continues on the planning. We started on that. So I will pass it off now to Jackie. Thank you.
Daryl.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Daryl Doan, your Economic Development Director. Well, we had some modest expenditures in FY25 in economic development. In 2024 and in 2025, we were really focused on building programs and building capacity to spend some of this money. But we had some expenditures that were key, and I think you'll see in 26 and 27 a lot more. But in 2025, we awarded our first brew grant to Ever After Wine in the amount of $25,000. So that was a nice little win. We actually have 3 more brew grants that we just put in place, so we'll report on next year. We haven't had any problem spending the event attraction grant program dollars. So we awarded 9 grants totaling about $50,000. We do this in partnership with Explore Elk Grove. We provide them grants that they match to augment their budget to be able to attract primarily sports tourism to the city. So 9 grants totaling $50,000. And we also continued our expenditures in the Main Street District, implementing the Main Street marketing campaign 2.0, which you guys saw in mid last year. So we did a whole bunch of stuff in the Main Street District. New banners, poles, fence wraps. We did an influencer campaign. We repaired kiosks, and we hosted community events. So hopefully you've seen some of those results. So with that, I will turn it back over to.
I appreciate the reports from our individual, the staff members. I felt that it was very important that you heard directly from them the work that they and their staffs and departments have accomplished with this funding. I can read off all of that, but I certainly don't want to take credit for it. You have an amazing staff that has worked very, very hard. And with that, I'd like to ask if there are any questions about the fiscal year 25 revenues and expenditure report.
All right, well, thank you for this fabulous presentation. Just some housekeeping. First, I need to open up public comment opportunity. I don't have anyone signed up. I'll close public comment. And now open it up to questions or comments from my colleagues. I'll start to the right. Councilmember Robles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you to the Measure E committee for the hard work and diligence on this, and also the city staff. This report is pretty straightforward, and it just shows how we're being good steward of taxpayers' monies. So thank you.
Councilmember Spies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, so a quick few thank yous. Most important, of course, is to the support and trust from our residents in supporting Measure E several years ago. The trust that you instilled or provide, or the trust that you have for us is foundational to getting good things done here. We have a fantastic staff. You've seen, obviously a lot of them talking today. Further, I want to thank, of course, I get in big trouble if I didn't say thank you to our community partners, the CSD, Kissimmee Services District, particularly their board and their staff. I'd get in big trouble if I didn't thank the CSD board, trust me. For those of you who don't know, my wife is on the CSD board, so I would get in the doghouse for that. I know, who knew? So I want, of course, to thank the Measure E committee for providing the oversight that our residents have asked for with Measure E. It's extra work, it's extra time, it's devotion to the mission, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that all that you do. And then lastly, those who've presented from both the city staff and from CSD, I know there are way many more people beneath who are making all of that happen. But what I would suggest to, of course, I know we have a huge viewership, right? I know lots of people in the city are going to watch this, but I hope that they actually do, because so many things that were presented tonight are what they have provided. They've provided us that ability. And of course, our fantastic staff, both at the Elk Grove City and at CSD, have executed very well in doing the things that improve the quality of life here in Elk Grove. An honorable mention, of course, is the work we're doing towards homelessness. It is a very extremely expensive endeavor, right? We've talked about it very recently with the shelter. But we have heard from our residents that that is a priority and they want something done. It is an expensive endeavor. And then just so much more. I can't recall it right off the top of my head, but there was a lot of work done through the trust of our residents and, of course, through the execution of the CSD staff and the City of Elk Grove. So big thank you to all three of them. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brewer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank you for the report, Valerie. I want to thank you, Jackie. It's kind of funny because seeing all these familiar faces when you see New Vang and this Tracy Ferris roll up here, it's like, oh, shoot, this is deja vu all over again. But then we add in some of the newer components with Chief Davis and Jeff Werner and Christopher Jordan and Daryl Doan, and it makes for a nice comprehensive mix to show how Measure E works, why Measure E came to be. Don't want to bore you with all those details because that takes a long time. But it shows specifically the 8 priorities that were listed in 24-25 shows how we were effective and focused in using your public dollars to produce $34 million to divide up for public safety, addressing homelessness, enhancing programs for youth, maintaining parks to maintain their safe and clean, and just focused on economic development. And now we're adding on this new component on arts, culture, and entertainment, preservation of natural areas and open space, expanding and maintaining local bike and pedestrian trails. It shows that we're focused on creating a quality of life here and making Elk Grove a very unique place. And that's why people continue to move here. That's why people like living here. And it shows that we're really working hard to deliver these services for all of you, because that's the power of community. And that is the power of Measure E. And for those of us who supported it steadfast, raised money for it, campaigned for it, it shows where the vision was very succinct and very tight. And I can't thank all of you enough for putting your faith into the city and pushing Measure E and making it, putting it into fruition. But it shows that we're showing results, we're creating results, and they're sustainable results. And that plays into the bigger picture of keeping Elk Grove a sustainable community for years to come. We're just getting started. But I think sharing these results with the public is very helpful because it shows that this is what you do and this is how you represent your community and this is how we effectively deliver services when you put your faith in the greater good. And so thank you again. Great report, and very pleased with the information. And thank you, Valerie, for being the chair of the Oversight Committee. And I want to thank you and all your members who are here tonight. Brett, Hollis, I want to thank you all for being here. And even for those who are not here, Ms. Judy Covington, Helena Madera Silmi, Coach Harry, and Alan Vito III. I want to thank you all for serving our community and making sure that the dollars are being used correctly. Thank you so much, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll pile on a little bit, but just start off by wanting to echo the sentiments that my colleagues just mentioned. Really appreciate Valerie, you and the Measure E Committee for providing that check and balance on it, and Jackie and the staff for their execution. And just kind of highlighting what Councilmember Brewer talked about, it was between the city and the CSD, very collaborative from the educational efforts that were done to the execution. And I know it may sound like we are piling on, but I think it's important that we reflect on these accomplishments, because if a lot of times when nothing's wrong, people don't notice. So I think it's good that our citizenry understands these things that have been done, from infrastructure to economic development to homelessness and things that will come to be with the arts, culture, and entertainment, and those things. This really, Measure E is really enabling our city to prepare for the future and go into a new trajectory, and I think it's good that we take note of that. But I also want to say it's important for us to recognize this, because 10 years from now, I hope people can look back and remember, and this culture of being good stewards of our money continues forward. And so because the efforts that went into making sure starting with the balanced budget, which enabled the trust of our public to pass Measure E, and then these early successes that we're having, I want folks to remember that, and I look forward to future generations when all of us, I'm talking way in the future here, and all of us aren't here anymore, that the city continues down that path. So thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mayor.
Thank you. Great comments from my colleagues. Thank you, Valerie, and the entire Measure E committee for volunteering and serving your city. I know a number of you personally, and you go above and beyond, not just on this committee, but others as well. So I want to thank you and recognize you for that. And then also thank you to Ms. Vang and Ms. Ferris for coming here and doing your presentations. This is about collaboration between the city and the CSD, and it was great to have you here to present your requisite, slides, if you will. This, at the end of the day, when we presented this to the voters, it was about quality of life, improving the quality of life in our city. And we are seeing the benefits of that, particularly when it comes to public safety. Those improved response times is just tremendous. When it comes to fire safety and with police, it's tremendous seeing those results and the improved times on that. Of course, addressing homelessness was front and center for a number of our residents, and we have been proactive in that. And it's not by accident that you see a 65% reduction in encampments in the city of Elk Grove. These things do cost money, but we are being responsive to what our voters have indicated is a priority. At the onset, when we were working towards establishing, just moving forward with Measure E, it was important to have an oversight committee, and this ensures that public trust. So we want to thank you once again for all of the work that you are doing. The good news is that we are going to be sharing these findings with our residents in the upcoming newsletters. We don't want good news to be kept a secret. We want to share it. This is, they've worked very hard for their dollars, and those dollars are being put to good use in their city. $34.6 million is not a small amount of money. And if we look at cities throughout California and the United States, cities are hurting. And many cities have tried and have failed when it comes to passing a ballot measure like this. So we want to thank the citizens of Elk Grove and all of you for continuing to be good stewards with the public purse. And I'm just grateful that we are seeing the benefits of that in real time. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you. The last thing is we just ask that you accept the report.
We accept it. We don't need a motion for this. We are accepting it here. And,
Gladly.
and it looks like you will be picking a new chair and vice chair. I see the slide here.
The upcoming meetings, we have, the next meeting will be scheduled for May 4th for the Measure E committee. You're welcome to attend. It's riveting.
We invite you to public comments here.
We'll review the fiscal year 27 proposed expenditure plan, which will include the 4 new focused priorities that have been determined. So that'll be a total of 11 priorities that everyone will be working with, and we will be electing another committee chair and vice chair at that meeting.
All right, excellent. Is that the last slide? All right, well, thank you, everyone. We will now move on to our next item, which is 9.2.
And that's to receive an update on city council priority projects.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I am Aishwarya Kumar. I go by Ash, Senior Management Analyst in the City Manager's Office, here to present an update on the City Council priority projects. This is a receiving item and no action is recommended. Some background information. The City Council conducted its biennial retreat on February 20th, 2025, where it reviewed and updated its goals for the following 2 years and identified strategic initiatives to address them. The Council adopted the mission, vision, goals, and priority projects at its April 9th meeting last year. To implement the mission, vision, goals, the Council identified projects it deemed high priority, and the staff reports on the progress of implementing these projects twice a year. These, as you all know, are the city's mission and vision statements, which are also available on the city website. Alignment with council goals, the mission and vision that we saw in the previous slide are supported by 4 goals: a vibrant community and sustainable economy with diverse businesses and amenities, a safe and resilient community, a high-performing and financially stable city government, and a city with infrastructure that meets its current and future needs. Each goal is reinforced by 4 to 6 supporting statements. And as I mentioned before, all of the information can also be found on the city website. So 25 projects were identified or deemed as high priority. And the progress reports, we come to you twice a year. Today's update, it covers the period through December 2025. And the projects are organized into these 4 areas: civic amenities, transportation, community and economic development, city operations, and public safety. This evening, we'd like to highlight some of the major accomplishments, but you can find all of the 25 projects and the progress reports on all of them in the staff report. The first one that we'd like to highlight is the Elk Grove Library. This is to complete construction for the relocated Elk Grove Library branch. We are nearing completion of the drywall installations and plumbing work. The construction is anticipated to be completed by the summer of 2026. The next one we heard also from Public Works Director Werner. The project closeout for the traffic signal communication network is underway to complete upgrades to traffic signal cabinets and connect to fiber optic and cellular service to increase bandwidth, to improve signal synchronization and traffic operations, and overall to reduce congestion. The next one is the light rail extension to Elk Grove to update the corridor master plan for future extension of light rail into Elk Grove. Significant progress has been made on this project for future extension of light rail into Elk Grove. The alignment, visions for the station areas, ridership projections, and traffic analysis are complete. The draft master plan will be available for public comment in the next few weeks, and plan adoption is anticipated this spring. The next one is the climate action plan update, which is to complete the 5-year update to this plan document. Public comments have been received on the draft document, and final supplemental EIR and climate compass document will both be presented to the Planning Commission and City Council in this spring. The last project we want to highlight this evening is the Courtyard Master Plan, which is to complete the master plan to accommodate current needs and future growth, including timing and funding strategy. Staff will present the plan to council this spring. So these were a lot of large projects which are anticipated to wrap up in the next few months or even weeks. This is a huge team effort, and staff is available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right. At this time, I will open up public comment. Nobody has signed up to speak on this item, so I will close it. Any questions or comments? Looking to the left? Yes, Councilmember Brewer.
Yes, I want to thank Ms. Kumar for the update and the overview. And looking at the progress report in the back of the analysis, there's a lot of good things happening and starting to take place, and really excited about what is going to happen with the fish hatchery nature area, and also the library. Really excited about that, opening up later this summer. There's a lot of good benchmarks, but I see and just really excited to see where things are going. And hopefully we can get some of our priorities moving in the right direction, and keeping things moving on the positive trajectory. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, thank you, Ash, for the presentation, the highlights. Definitely of those, we just heard about Measure E and some of that work there, but lately a lot of the residents are actually starting to talk about more and more about traffic. So it's great to see the intersection improvements that are taking place. Still also excited to, when you look at, the Camera Road extension to I-5 and Project Elevate, of course, there's a lot of great stuff that we have in the works. So thank you very much for the information.
Councilmember Spies, anything?
I do, just really quickly. All you got to do is look at what you've just presented and what's been going on with Measure E to see that there are a lot of fantastic things going on in the city of Elk Grove. And again, much thanks to staff, because it doesn't get executed without you and without our partners at CSD, as well as our contractor community. So I just want to say thank you very much. Elk Grove is continuing to move in a great direction. Thank you.
Councilmember Robles, anything?
I just agree with all my colleagues.
All right, thank you. Great report, great update. Great to have these opportunities to check in to see the progress that we're making. So we will now move on to our next item, 9.3.
Let's consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with the Cultural Planning Group, LLC, for a term of 18 months and an amount not to exceed $149,760, as staff will delineate.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Sarah Rodriguez. I am one of your economic development analysts here with the City of Elk Grove. And this evening, I'm pleased to share an initiative with the potential to bring both cultural and economic vibrancy to our community. And that is the Future Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy Strategy. Tonight's presentation will outline what the strategy aims to achieve and also introduce the consultant that we're hoping to move forward with. So this evening, staff is recommending that the council adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Cultural Planning Group for a term of 18 months and an amount not to exceed $149,760. So our community, as you heard earlier, identified arts and culture as a key priority for Measure E funds, and we heard that loud and clear. So in response, the city of Elk Grove is proposing the development of a comprehensive arts, culture, and creative economy strategy. So before I jump right into what that is and why we think it's the important next step, I just wanted to kind of start with context of what creative economy is and why it matters and why it's important to invest in it. So for me, it's helpful to think of the creative economy as a system. So that system is made up of people, right? That's the musicians, the authors, the muralists, the creative educators, the nonprofit organizations. It's also made up of the places. That's everything from the theaters and the galleries to the small hubs like bars that also offer poetry night or something like that. And it also includes the programs, the events, the platforms that allow that creativity to circulate throughout the city. So when that ecosystem is healthy and it's invested in, it doesn't just stop at supporting culture, which of course is also beneficial to the economy, right? Good talent wants to come to a place with good culture, but it also supports it more directly. So creative entrepreneurs really enhance traditional entrepreneurship. Graphic designers and photographers tell the stories of our local businesses, performances at a local theater, like you heard earlier today, right? Folks stay to shop at our local stores. They eat at nearby restaurants. They might stay at one of our hotels and get gas on the way home. So creativity really just becomes a multiplier. And so when we're investing in that creativity strategically, they aren't just funding art, they're activating the places, they're supporting our businesses, both big and small, and they're strengthening the identity and economic resilience here in the city. So this strategy, with all that being said, is to serve as a roadmap to ensure that Elk Grove's creative economy is healthy and is thriving. And so it starts with identifying the assets that we already have. We have some really great gems here in the city. So it starts with looking at what already exists, the creative hubs, the organizations, the public art, things of that sort. And then through the process of mapping out those assets and through a robust community engagement, including things like roundtables and interviews and workshops and online surveys, the strategy will also identify gaps in our current system, right? Ways that we can improve. And with those gaps in mind, our consultant would conduct market and economic analysis, right, to determine that the kinds of programs, places, and events that we are pursuing actually make sense, that they have quantitative data to back them up. And that gives staff clear, data-informed guidance on how to best move forward. So, to begin the development of the strategy, the city issued a formal request for proposals in September 2025. 15 organizations answered that, and staff, along with our great arts and creative economy subcommittee, they had two folks from the subcommittee joined staff to select 3 finalists. Those finalists were Cultural Planning Group, Keen Independent Research, and MIG. And then those finalists then were asked to present to the entire commission. And the commission at that meeting voted 5-2 in favor of recommending Cultural Planning Group, which staff concurs. So who is Cultural Planning Group and why did their proposal stand out? So CPG is a multidisciplinary consulting firm with offices in California, Florida, and Pennsylvania, and they specialize in arts and culture planning. When I say specialize, they've done over 120 of these throughout the nation. And they were chosen for a number of reasons. They have a very collaborative approach in their proposal. They have extensive experience, like I said, developing strategies in comparable cities. That's key, right? So a lot of those folks are they are suburban cities that are adjacent to metropolitan areas. So that's really important as well. They have experience with that. They have inclusive community engagement methodology. So not only are they gathering the voices from different parts of the city, different sectors of the creative economy, different backgrounds, different ages, but they're also have really good analytics experience. So they have partnerships with Robinette Economics. That's kind of who helps them with that market analysis expertise, and we'll gather both qualitative and quantitative data points to figure out kind of what our next steps are. And they're also familiar with the Sacramento region and have some members that actually helped with the feasibility study at District 56. So a little bit of work in Elk Grove as well. So these pictures kind of resemble some of those examples of the 120 I mentioned. We have Sacramento's Arts and Culture Plan right here. We have San Diego's Creative City. We have State of Washington, so they also did some state work. Culver City, and also Cultural District Plan for Salt Lake City downtown area. So again, lots of experience. So here's that project team, Culture Planning Group. You'll see there in that like reddish pink color is the firm that the city will be contracting with. That's led with David, he's here with us today, and Linda. They are project leads, and they're joined with Rosario, who focuses on bilingual creative engagement. So together, the core team brings more than 50 years of experience in art and culture planning. And then Culture Planning Group also has team members in Robinette Economics that I mentioned earlier, who help with the marketing and economic analyses. And then DRTM, who help with the editing and the graphic design of the strategy. So collectively, the broader team brings more than 180 years of experience across arts and culture planning, economic impact analysis, and community storytelling. So for the $149,760 that we're would be paying, the consultant will be partnering with the city over 18 months, and that's 12 months actually developing the strategy, and then the additional 6 months is going to be them supporting us in the implementation, which also help them stand out, right? We don't want these sitting on shelves and getting dust. We want to implement them. So they will be helping us with an objective assessment. So that's kind of that baseline I was talking about, figuring out what's already here that we can really leverage. They'll have a comprehensive cultural asset map that we can put on our website that folks can kind of see what all the art spaces they can tap into. They're going to have an inclusive community and stakeholder engagement that's happening across residents, creatives, businesses, youth, all of those folks. We want to hear their voices. It's data-driven market and economic impact analysis, like I said, shared community vision. We really want to have a shared language when we talk about creative economy and where we're moving as a city, and then a phased implementation plan as well. So what are the low-hanging fruit that we can tackle right off the bat? What are kind of long-term goals that we can move toward step by step? And then a polished, editable, ready-to-use deliverables, because there'll also be presentations that we can use, and we can edit as we grow and change as a city. In turn, in partnership with Cultural Planning Group, we will be providing overall direction and oversight throughout the entire process. We will supply background materials, so that's things like the general plan and things that really give them context when they're drafting this strategy. We will participate in the engagement activities, so we'll make sure that those run smoothly. We'll be providing translation services as needed, and then we are really going to be focusing on that communication with our residents and with our businesses. Both are important to make sure that anybody who wants their voice heard and wants to be at the table for this gets the opportunity to do that. And we'll be distributing surveys and public notices. So, in conclusion, staff is recommending that council adopt a resolution, again, for the city manager to execute a contract with Cultural Planning Group for a term of 18 months and an amount not to exceed $149,760. Alternatively, council may choose not to select Cultural Planning Group as the arts, culture, and creative economy strategy consultant, and instead could choose one of the other finalists or direct staff to solicit additional proposals. As noted, the anticipated fiscal impact is $149,760 for Cultural Planning Group's services, which would be fully funded using Measure E revenues allocated in the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. You heard lots about Measure E earlier. So, as you know, these funds are designated for initiatives that enhance quality of life in Elk Grove, and that includes arts, culture, and creative economy programs. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions. We also have very dedicated commissioners here with me today. Chairman Brian Rickel, Vice Chair Aaron Val, and Member Sally Guttridge are all here if you have any questions directly for the commission. Otherwise, also David Pletner-Saunders is here to answer any questions as the consultant. I'd love for him to introduce himself if you have an opportunity. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. I would love to, I just want to provide some comments. That would be great.
Thank you. It's really nice to be with you tonight, Mayor, council members. We're excited to be selected for this project out of this competitive field of worthy colleagues / competitors. And we're very excited about the possibilities that this plan will offer to your community. I think it's clear from Sarah's presentation, this is a very thoughtful RFP, intelligent scope of work. One of the things that stood out to us was that she and Daryl and the commission are integrating the arts, meaning the fine arts and nonprofit arts, with the commercial or for-profit side of the arts, and including all of those in the scope of planning, which is something we strongly believe in. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about our qualifications or anything else you would like to ask.
Thank you. We wanted to just hear from you, so that was helpful. At this time, I'll open up public comment. No one's signed up, so I'll close it. Questions, comments, either of Sarah or for the cultural planning group? I'll go to the left here. Do you have anything? No question? Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. David, thanks for being here. Appreciate it and your interest in our city. So I have a few questions. First, I want to, Sarah, start with a clarification. So I heard you say this cultural planning group would work with staff. But did you include the Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy Commission as well as part of that? Or I was just wondering how they're going to interact with each other.
Yeah, there'll be regular updates given to the commission, and there'll be great assets to reaching the community as well. And so, the staff member that is overseeing it will be the one overseeing the strategy as well, and they'll be giving them regular updates and happy to pivot, and they'll definitely see the draft and be able to review that and give any comments before the final draft. Yeah.
Okay, and then is this typical of what others, you showed some examples here, Sacramento and San Diego, and this is what cities do. They hire somebody like Cultural Planning Group to develop and implement these kinds of things that we see out when we go visit.
That's right, because of, as you saw, the scope of work is immense. So usually they partner with a staff member of the city and then go through all of those key milestones and make sure that it's fitting not only with the city, but it is also very nice to have an outsider perspective, right? To have a bird's eye view, but to definitely hear from the community and make sure, the reason why the staff part is so important, right? It's that oversight, making sure that it's actually what you hear on the booth, on your everyday life here at the city. So gotcha. I think it both are important and bring value,
Okay, appreciate it, thank you. And then David, for you, have you heard of Pageant of the Masters?
Yes, I've attended Pageant of the Masters.
Okay, fantastic. Is that something like that is what you would come up with? And are you going to interview the community and figure out if something like that would work here?
Well,
can you help me understand
we're
that?
not actually festival producers, so we wouldn't actually produce a Pageant of the Masters. And as you know, it's been going for decades.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know who started it, really. But more to answer your question, it's clear from the Measure E report and from your priorities that arts and culture and creative economy are a topic of interest in your community. And we intend to help flesh out, to understand what the community's vision and priorities are, to flesh out this priority that you have identified for arts, culture, and creative economy. We, as Sarah said, this is an 18-month total contract period, but we would be done with the plan by probably 12 months, 10 or 12 months. And we would expect to begin working through the city manager's office with interviews with each of you to hear your perspectives early in the process and help us understand the political and community context for this plan.
Okay.
A little bit more clarification on that. So yeah, so they're going to be figuring out what's needed, but also seeing like what's happening around the city, right? So if, especially with the market analysis, if they're, the city says we need this sort of place built, but then when they do their analysis, they realize actually we don't want to we don't want to deliver on something that already exists nearby and it not actually work in the city. So that's why it's really important to get both the voices of the community, but also have that analysis to make sure that those things are actually going to be good for our city.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
And it'll be like events, programs, like kind of big bucket suggestions that staff then can use as a roadmap of like, oh, those are the sorts of things that our community needs to move us forward and progress in the arts and culture.
Right. Well, and that's why I mentioned Pageant of the Masters. Because
types of festivals.
Types of festivals. I'm not saying you implement the festivals, but based on your research through our community, you might suggest that we do something like that or don't do whatever we were going to do.
So yes,
Okay.
the answer to your question is yes.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to add that we have done 2 plans for the city of Laguna Beach. And in their community, part of what we learned is that they have a very arts-rich environment already. They're not looking for more. They're looking for how to preserve and deepen the cultural richness that they have, particularly in a very tony California coastal city where it's very difficult for artists to afford to live there. So just to say that these plans are very unique to the community. So we would obviously be sharing with you at some midpoint in the process what we're hearing, so you'd have a picture.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Okay.
Councilmember Spies?
I do. Just real quick, I think back, I go back a little bit in the Wayback Machine to Judy Tafoya and this ragtag group of the Arts Advocacy Project way back when, and being involved with that and, talking about creative economy and as, this group was trying to put together what is creative economy, what does it look like? And it was difficult. It was difficult to explain. It was difficult to put something around it, right?
Yeah. I remember.
And so I'm really glad to see that not just that the committee is putting together what that means, but that we're now moving towards getting a consultant who can really help us take those real big nebulous cloud ideas that Judy had and bring them into the light of day. And so I'm excited about that. Looking forward to it. And so. Hey, Judy, if you're up there, we're moving on it.
Judy was ahead of her time.
She was well ahead of her time.
Yeah.
She was.
Councilmember Robles?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to say thank you, Sarah, for the presentation, and also David for being out here. I did read a little bit of, I think this is a post that you guys did for the Culture Planning Group. When culture equity leads the process, strong sense of place, higher participation, buy-in, and more suitable outcomes, communities feel represented, not just redesigned. I want to say thank you because that, to me, speaks to the core group of what you are as a group and as a consultant, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing. And I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you. Yeah, great comments here from my colleagues. Big supporter of this, and our city's only 25 years old, but we still have a rich history, and converging what you do and the arts and creative economy. This is what we need to sort of take it to that next level. So really looking forward to this. I trust the judgment of the committee and staff and the recommendation and seeing all of the great work that you have done in other communities. Looking forward to seeing our city for one of your future proposals elsewhere. This is what we did in Elk Grove. You'll find your time here quite rewarding. It's a very diverse community, every culture represented here. So, I look forward to you getting to work and showing us something fabulous.
We do too.
Yeah, so thank you for that, and thank you for everyone participating. Thank you to the Arts and Creative Economy for joining this evening as well. So with that, I think I heard a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yes, why not? It's a big step for our city. All right, next item, 9.4.
Item 9.4 is to consider appointment of one voting member to the Disability Advisory Committee and one voting member to the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm Jason Lindgren, your city clerk. As a result of our outreach at the end of 2025 to all of our city commissions and committees, we had some members step down as we turned into the new year, and that opened up vacancies, one each respectively on the Disability Advisory Committee and one position on the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. The dials have moved a little bit since the publication of the staff report, so I will say that there are 6 applications that have been submitted for the Disability Advisory Committee, and at this point we have what looks to be 11 applications for the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. My only last note is that one of the focuses for the Disability Advisory Committee, it does have a composition requirement, and our member that did step down, Mr. Steve Capps, he was a member with a disability, and so part of this is the vacancy is seeking out a member that has a disability, and so let applicants speak to that. I think we have numerous folks that are here to speak on their applications tonight, and I would just like to thank Brenda Haggard for moving, I think, the monitors. Thank you for that. Appreciate it for our speakers. If any of our speakers need any accommodations, please let us know. We do have wireless mics and things of that nature, so just please let us know and we can help you out.
All right, well, thank you very much. At this time, I will go ahead and open up public comment. We have many people signed up to speak. Just as a friendly reminder, your time limit is 3 minutes. We will start with Sally Smith, followed by Caroline Martin.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name's Sally Smith, and I've lived in Elk Grove for 27 years. I'm applying to serve on the Disability Advisory Committee. I bring lived experience as a disabled, superfat, queer elder. Disability takes many forms. For example, size, mobility, chronic illness, aging, and the way people react to our bodies shape how we move through public space. I currently serve as a patient advisor on Kaiser South Sacramento's Patient and Family Centered Care Oversight Committee and on its Diabetes Patient Advisory Council. In those roles, I've learned how to partner with institutions, how to raise concerns thoughtfully, and how to translate lived experience into practical, actionable recommendations. In many cities, access is equated with curb cuts and wheelchair ramps. Those matter. But access is also seating that safely and comfortably supports larger bodies. It's public spaces that don't exhaust people managing chronic illness. It's meeting formats that consider people with sensory, cognitive, or energy limitations. It's policies that anticipate needs rather than reacting to complaints. There are places in our city that technically meet standards but are not accessible to me and likely not to others whose disabilities are less visible. I would be honored to help the city think about accessibility not just as compliance, but as belonging. I believe Elk Grove can do this well, and I would value the opportunity to contribute. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next up is Cameron Naramore. Did we lose a speaker? Oh, no, I understand, but I thought I saw another name right before this. Sorry, my mistake.
Good evening. My name is Cameron Weinhoff-Nairmore. I'd like to thank you for letting me speak on my candidacy for the vacant seat on the Disability Advisory Committee. I've lived in Elk Grove for almost 10 years, and I love Elk Grove. It's the most accessible city I've ever lived in, so I'd like to briefly touch on some topics that touch disabled people like myself that could make the great city even better. By and large, the sidewalks are accessible in the city. There are some weak points. At Elk Grove Park, for example, the sidewalk slopes so steeply that my chair drifts towards the lake, and that exceeds the 2% cross slope limit. And I can tell you these exact spots because I'm basically a rolling spirit level. That knowledge doesn't easily come from an engineering report, but it comes naturally from my lived experience, and that's what I want to bring to this committee. Every business open to the public must be accessible. There's no small business exemption, but most small businesses owners don't know about federal tax credits of up to $5,000 a year or the $15,000 barrier removal deduction. A single ADA lawsuit costs more than $15,000 in legal fees. San Jose and San Francisco offer grants for inspections and barrier removal. Elk Grove could do something similar, perhaps through Community Development Block Grant funds or the wonderful Measure E that we heard about earlier. Accessible businesses aren't just good for people with disabilities. More customers can come to accessible businesses. Elk Grove is growing fast. Every new home without basic accessibility features will be expensive to retrofit later. I'd like the committee to push for visitable design and new developments, zero-step entries, and wider doorways throughout. In the meantime, portable ramps at the community center or library would let wheelchair users visit more friends and family. Disability is not a binary. It's a spectrum that touches us all, through injury, disease, or age. Accessibility benefits everyone, parents with strollers, delivery workers, the elderly. Investing in accessibility is investing in the whole community. In my spare time, I create accessibility interfaces and robotic systems that help people like me interact with computers and physical objects. Accessibility isn't just important to me, it's necessary. I'm informed, cooperative, and ready to advocate. I hope that you'll consider me for this vacant seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Next up, Caroline Martin, followed by Leticia Aguilar.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, council members, Mayor Singh-Allen. It's my honor. My name is Caroline Martin. It's my honor to be considered as for an appointment on the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Thanks for your time today. I've taught high school and middle school in several regions within Elk Grove Unified School District the past 21 years. And I've served many years as a district instructional coach for teachers of multilingual students. I am currently at Toby Johnson Middle School and am the coordinator of our multilingual program, our English Learner Advisory Committee, and am a school representative on the District English Learners Advisory Committee. 100% of my students are from multilingual families. On a daily basis, my classroom holds students who bring over 19 languages in addition to English. I have spent my career educating, advocating for, and serving multilingual families and immigrants within the city of Elk Grove. I have advocated for them at the classroom, school, district, and state levels. To say that this work is something that I'm passionate about is an understatement. This is work that is integral to my life's purpose. To the commission, I would bring a focus in the areas of ensuring and protecting the safety, dignity, and belongingness of those in Elk Grove. In today's reality, we need to not only honor our diversity, but unify to protect one another. Diversity and inclusion starts with representation and is realized through the work that is done to break down the barriers of existing structures that were built with only certain types of people as the architects. As such, we need to continue to actively provide space, outreach, and advocacy for all people to flourish in this community in ways that they find valuable, such as continuing to find ways for Elk Grove businesses owned by marginalized individuals to feel and be supported by the city and community, pave the way for all religious activities to be honored in and by the community, recognize all gender identities explicitly, collect data that is analyzed, shared, and acted on relating to the city's stated diversity and inclusion goals. Our success as a city is determined by the extent to which our diverse population can thrive on a daily basis. If people from any culture, ethnicity, gender identity, language background, sexuality, age, ability, or religion are not given the chance to thrive on their own terms or do not feel safe or validated in Elk Grove, then we have lots of work to do.
Again, thank you for your time and consideration. I'm especially grateful for your work in the area of sustaining and protecting the diversity in the city of Elk Grove, which I believe to be our biggest asset. I'm so proud to be a parent, resident, and teacher here because of this dedication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Leticia Aguilar, followed by Angelina Hinojosa.
Hello, Mayor and council members. My name is Leticia Aguilar. I'm a member of Pineleville Pomo Nation. Sintamana, Winawana Kanima, Kashi, Leticia Aguilar, Pineleville Pomo Nation. It is an honor to be here today in front of you all in support of Angelina and her application to serve on the DEI Commission. She carries lots of wisdom. I know her personally and have the honor of working alongside her. At the young age of 14, she began her public speaking, receiving an award for Each Mind Matters on mental health in her advocacy and for youth throughout the Sacramento area. She is my inspiration and my co-founder of our local nonprofit, the Native Sister Circle. She helps tirelessly and selflessly to build and form this community group who we serve, young girls in our area. We also have a young youth council that we take beyond the lines of California. It's serving leadership. She is generous and kind and a bright spirit and easy to work with. I believe that we can learn from our young people, and I'm learning from her every day. In this world of 2026 that we're living in, she carries a lot of that knowledge. She brings something fresh and understands the community that she serves. She also was a student at Sac State. She went to Laguna Creek here in Elk Grove, where we reside. She made her way to DC 4 times, serving her community, bringing up awareness and advocating on issues that we face in our community. She spoke with Deb Haaland in Biden's cabinet, and all of the work that she does it gracefully. She's been a part of fellowships where she's built relationships, and again, easy to work with. She don't have ego, but she has passion. Her fellowships took her all the way to Miami. So Angelina has done work on a state level, advocating on Prop 64, Measure L, which created the SAC Children's Fund, and which brings in a lot of funding to communities that she serves. And she continues to do so on an ongoing basis. And I just ask that you Google her, research her work. She's out there, and support her. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Angelina Hinojosa, followed by Nick Wooten.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Chair, and City Council members. My name is Angelina Hinojosa. I'm a resident of Elk Grove, a California Native woman, and I am a youth that advocate deeply rooted in this community. I'm here to introduce myself and to express my sincere interest in serving on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission. I come before you humbly, not claiming to have all the answers, but with lived experience, community relationships, and a strong commitment to service. Over the past several years, I worked closely with many families through prevention, programming, leadership development, and cultural wellness initiatives. In that work, I learned something important. Equity is not just policy, it's practice. It shows up in who feels heard. It shows up in who is invited to the table. And it shows up in who feels safe enough to speak. As a young woman and someone who works directly with youth, I bring a perspective that is often missing in decision-making spaces. I understand the realities people are navigating: mental health challenges, identity struggles, cultural invisibility, and the pressures to succeed in systems that don't always reflect them. I also see their brilliance, their leadership, and their desire to contribute. Elk Grove is one of the most diverse cities in our region. That diversity is something we should protect and actively nurture. Through my work, I've built relationships across cultural groups, schools, nonprofit organizations, and community leaders. I understand how to bring people together across differences, not through division, but through shared purpose. If appointed to the DEI Commission, I would show up ready to listen first. I would show up ready to learn, and I would show up committed to ensuring that our policies and recommendations reflect the lived experiences of the people. I'm here because I deeply care about the future of the city, not for a title, especially for our people. I want Elk Grove to continue to being a place where every child, every family, and every community feels seen and valued. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys for your service. And thank you for your consideration. I would be honored to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Nick Wooten, followed by Sequoia Coleman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm speaking on behalf of Chairman Tarango and Reina Tarango as they wish to voice their support for Angelina on the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Chairman Tarango and Reina truly recognize the important work of this commission and know how vital it is today, and especially in times like these when inclusive leadership and authentic community voices matter more than ever. Angelina brings true experience as a substance use disorder specialist and youth advocate, where she leads culturally responsive prevention programs and works directly with Native youth and children. Throughout her leadership with Native Sister Circle and the California Native Youth Leadership Council, Angelina has created spaces that elevate Native youth voices, promote mental health awareness, and address substance abuse through culturally grounded approaches. As a Native woman, she carries both a lived experience and professional commitment needed to authentically represent and uplift her community and the entire broader community. Chairman Tarango and Reina respectfully encourage the council to support Angelina in her appointment. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next up is Sequoia Coleman, followed by Monica Patel.
Estongo, Sequoia Coleman Joseph Cruz. I'm a member of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma and Muskogee. And I work for the California Native Vote Project as a Northern California community organizer. I'm here to uplift and support Angelina Hinojosa, who's running to be a part of the City of Elk Grove's Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Not only would she be the first California Native woman to ever be on the Diversity and Inclusion Commission, but she would also be the youngest. As someone who works directly with Native youth in the greater Sacramento area and all throughout Northern California, we encourage them to step into positions of civic power that we as Native people are not typically included in. I'm so proud and happy that she's even taking the chance to run for this position of this magnitude as a young Native person. She's leading by example, actively showing other Native youth that we as Native people do belong in these spaces, and that our voices, leadership, advocacy, and lived experiences are not only valid, but necessary. When we make space for young leaders, we strengthen our communities with insight, innovation, and lived experience that does deserve to be heard, respected, and uplifted. She's thoughtful, resilient, and deeply committed to uplifting and supporting her community, both Native and across Elk Grove. She brings a depth of knowledge, lived experience, and care that will meaningfully strengthen and better serve Elk Grove community as a whole. As someone who's witnessed her leadership and integrity and dedication to uplifting others firsthand, I can confidently say she leads with both cultural grounding and a strong sense of responsibility to her community. I wholeheartedly trust that she'll approach this role with a deep commitment to ensuring all voices are not just heard, but valued. If you couldn't tell from everything I just shared, Angelina Hinojosa is an incredible young Pomo woman and candidate who I know would work to make a positive impact as a member of Elk Grove's Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Mado, and thank you for your service and your time.
Thank you. Next up is Monica Patel, followed by Jenny Rodriguez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, Vice Mayor Darren as well. I am Monica Patel, and I'm deeply honored to share why I am seeking the opportunity to serve on the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. For me, this mission is deeply personal as a Fijian woman who has called Elk Grove home for 2 decades, that went fast, I understand the importance of belonging. Our Fijian community is vibrant, proud, and growing, but many still feel unseen or unsure of how to fully engage in the civic life of our city. I want to help change that. I believe representation matters when people can see themselves reflected in leadership roles where their culture, heritage, and lived experiences are acknowledged. It builds trust and connection. I want to serve as that bridge between our Fijian families and Elk Grove, helping them feel welcomed, supported, and empowered to participate. Elk Grove's diversity is one of its greatest strengths, and I want to ensure every community feels that their voice matters. I'm especially passionate about advocating for women and girls. I want our daughters and all young women to grow up knowing that their voice belongs in every space, in leadership and policy discussions and shaping the future of our city. There are several ways I believe I can add value to the commission. With community engagement through my involvement with several organizations. I have built some strong relationships across many cultures. I can help the Commission reach communities that may not traditionally be engaged, especially Fijian and South Pacific families. Cultural representation and education, I can help bring visibility to the Fijian and Pacific Islander experience in Elk Grove, whether through cultural events, outreach programs, etc. Women's empowerment, trusted leadership experience. I have over 38 years in banking experience in leadership and many years in community leadership roles. I bring a strong foundation in communication, collaboration, and conflict resolution. Skills essential to building inclusive policies and partnerships. Bridge building. My background working with diverse groups allows me to listen, understand, and bring people together. I can help strengthen connections between underserved communities and city resources. Ultimately, my goal is not only to represent the Fijian community, but to help foster meaningful connection across all communities in Elk Grove. I want every resident, regardless of background, age, or identity, to feel valued, heard, and included. Thank you for considering me. I would be honored to bring my experience, my passion, and my heart for service to the Diversity and Inclusion Commission and to help build a more inclusive and welcoming Elk Grove for all. Thank you for your consideration again, and thank you for the service you do.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Next up is Jenny Rodriguez, followed by Jason, is it So? Forgive me if I butcher it.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor Singh-Allen and members of the council. My name is Jenny Rodriguez, an Elk Grove resident and an active Diversity and Inclusion Commissioner. It is my pleasure to recommend Julia Jimenez Yamamoto for appointment to the Elk Grove Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Julia leads with active listening and understands that meaningful inclusion begins with engaging residents, hearing their experiences, and creating space for honest dialogue. As a communications specialist at Gateway Community Charters and a member of the Superintendent's Advisory Team, she brings valuable experience collaborating with leadership and ensuring decisions are communicated clearly, transparently, and in ways that reflect diverse communities. She earned her bachelor's in sociology from California State University, Sacramento, and as a Latina woman and first-generation college graduate, she brings both academic knowledge and lived experience to her commitment to equity and inclusion. Her participation in the Creciente Latinx Leadership Program further deepened her understanding that true leadership is not only about advocating for one community, but about building bridges across communities and widening access for all. As an active commissioner myself, I know firsthand the responsibility and collaboration this role requires, and I am confident that Julia will do an excellent job serving alongside of us. She's thoughtful, intentional, and ready to help foster a community where all residents feel respected and valued. I strongly support her appointment. Thank you for your consideration. Good evening.
Thank you. Jason So, followed by Julia Jimenez Yamamoto.
Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today and for considering my application to serve on the Elk Grove Diversity and Inclusion Commission, as well as consideration for the Disability Advisory Commission. My story starts here in Elk Grove. I grew up in this community as a Chinese American who went through our local elementary, middle, and high school. Those experiences taught me what it feels like to belong, and at times what it feels like to be on the margins. They also showed me how powerful it is when schools, neighborhoods, and local institutions make an intentional effort to include everyone. That is the perspective I hope to bring to this commission. Someone who understands Elk Grove through lived experiences. After attending Franklin High School, I attended Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, where I moved from caring about equity in theory to working on it in practice. I partnered with local government to tackle food insecurity in underfunded neighborhoods, helped write grants, and implemented community-based programs that improved food access and food literacy. I helped design and teach a civics curriculum for elementary school students, and through YouthWorks, I supported high school students in finding summer jobs and seeing themselves as future leaders. Growing up with ADHD and later mentoring others with cognitive disabilities also taught me that inclusion is not just about race and ethnicity. It is about neurodivergence, access, and whether systems adapt to different needs. Professionally, I work in public policy as a legislative aide, where I spend my days analyzing complex issues, weighing trade-offs, and helping leaders make thoughtful, forward-thinking decisions. I would bring the same grounded approach to this commission. I truly believe that diversity and inclusion are fundamentally about trust. Trust that City Hall listens, that residents from every background see themselves reflected in our institutions, and that our differences are not just tolerated, but respected. Over the past year, this commission has done meaningful work that truly matters. It signals to our community who belongs here, and I hope to build on that momentum. If given the opportunity to serve, I will show up, listen carefully, and work hard to turn community voices into concrete recommendations that help Elk Grove become even more welcoming and inclusive. I sincerely thank you for your time, your service, and your commitment to our community.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Julia Jimenez Yamamoto.
Good evening, Mayor Singh-Allen and council members. My name is Julia Jimenez Yamamoto, and I am seeking an appointment to the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. I am pursuing this opportunity because I believe diversity is our strength, inclusion is our responsibility, and belonging is the outcome that we should be striving for all residents. I would welcome the opportunity to support the council in advancing this work. As a Latina woman, I understand how subtle barriers can affect whether someone feels that they truly belong. Those experiences have shaped how I approach leadership, with intentional listening, curiosity, and commitment to ensuring that voices and access are accessible to all. I value respectful dialogue, even when perspectives differ, and I believe progress happens when we listen with intention and the intent to understand. Professionally, I work in K-12 public education and serve on my superintendent's advisory team. In my role as a school PR professional, I help ensure that students, families, and staff perspectives are incorporated into leadership discussions, and I translate them into clear, actionable recommendations. My experience has prepared me to help this commission elevate community voices and provide thoughtful guidance to the council. I understand that this commission exists to provide practical, well-considered recommendations, and I am prepared to serve as an ambassador in ways that are constructive and aligned with the council's goals. If appointed, I would work to strengthen trust, encourage meaningful community participation, and ensure that inclusion and belonging are reflected not only in our values, but in our actions as well. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. And that is our final for public comment, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone that applied, everyone that attended this evening, anyone that might be watching. Thank you for wanting to serve your city. We truly appreciate that. We'll start with the Disability Advisory Committee. I would like to move forward Cameron Naramore. Seeing no objections?
No. Yeah,
okay.
I'd support that.
All right, the next one. This one's harder. a lot of people that we know, all of us here. But what I will say is, in filling these roles, what always is important is what voices are missing. And while I know all of you that serve and that want to serve would do an excellent job. All of you. But there's one voice that is important, not to discredit any of the others, and that is our original inhabitants. With tremendous support, obviously, from the Wilton Rancheria, I also got a letter that was entered into the record, I think you've all seen, from one commissioner, Ms. Teresa Plamatil. Even in talking to staff, I believe that Angelina Hinojosa would play that pivotal role of that missing voice that we need as part of our original inhabitants. And obviously with tremendous support this evening and other letters. So at this time, but I do want to just sort of pause and reflect on some of the other applicants. Monica, obviously, I love you. You're a friend. You already do tremendous things in our city and the region. If this is something that you're very passionate about, opportunities do come up to serve in a committee here in Elk Grove. But, again, I'm a big fan. I love you. Thank you for even wanting to step up in this role and wanting to apply. Julia, also, your application, your support, and dedication. And really, honestly, everyone, I don't want to miss anyone, but thank you all for wanting to serve. But at this time, given the tremendous support, the support from the Wilton Rancheria Tribe, fellow commissioners, staff input, I would like to move forward Angelina Hinojosa for this vacancy.
Mayor, that very tough choice, but
Yeah.
yes, I definitely think it's a good choice.
Seeing concurrence? Yes?
Well,
Yep.
just to real quick, I can certainly support your nomination. I do, of course, want to add an honorable mention for Sydney Patel. Oh, I mean Monica Patel.
Monica Patel, yes.
Yeah.
She looks like Sydney from a distance now. Either it's my eyes or something, but she is a fantastic community member, very, very connected in the Fijian community, but businesswoman, Rotarian, and so I just wanted to thank you very much for applying, Monica, and please don't let this be the last time that we see you. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
In fact, I
agree.
would double up on what Councilmember Spies said. I mean, openings occur frequently on this committee, as we've seen over the last few years, where members have excelled so well on this committee that they become members in different capacities throughout the city. And so that speaks really highly of the Diversity and Inclusion Commission when you have this concentration of talented individuals, passionate individuals who love their community and want to serve. So please keep this on the radar screen because you never know. As we've seen, your time will come. So definitely stay in touch.
Mayor, if I could add on to that too. I mean, I just want to start or add on to what you started with, and that is we have such great talent here in this city, and it is really heartening to see so much interest. And we talked about Monica, and we talked about Julia, Jason, a young man who grew up here. So I just think I would encourage all of you to please do keep coming back and keep an eye out, because changeover does happen. Just so folks understand, we had talked about enlarging this commission before, but it started to just get unwieldy if we did that. So unfortunately, we keep it constrained for that reason, and so we just ask that you come back.
And there are other boards and commissions as well, not just the Diversity and Inclusion Commission, as you saw that we had another vacancy as well. Elk Grove 101 is also another opportunity to be actively involved in your city, learn the inner workings, and really get connected with other civic-minded residents like yourselves. So thank you, everyone. And congratulations to Cameron Naramore and to Angelina Hinojosa this evening. So thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, next up is item 10. Any reports from council members? I'll start to the right. Councilmember Robles.
Have JPA Cameron Road Connector on Friday, and then also air quality tomorrow.
Thank you. Councilmember Spies, anything to report?
I can waive my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Brewer?
Last week, the Budget Audit Committee for the Sacramento Public Library Authority met. We meet again tomorrow, but as the full JPA at the Sacramento County Administrative Building. So that's at 3:00. Definitely invite the public to attend, or at least watch on Access Cable. And on Monday, the Sacramento Regional Transit Board met on and took care of some light business as well, and honored Councilmember Rick Jennings for his years of service and for his past year as chair.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I'll waive a report. Thank you.
Thank you. SAC-RT as well, so thank you. And with that, we will go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 8:23 p.m. Good night, everyone.